Hello again. This is the beginning of part 2 for our Tamiya Lamborghini Countach LP500 build that we've been working on for most of the week. We started it officially on Tuesday, and here it is Thursday evening about 5:30 p.m. And we've already uploaded part 1, and we got some really good feedback on that. So that's fun for us. I'm glad everybody's enjoying that. But we've been getting some comments that we should leave the body in pink. Rattlecan Shenanigans actually said we should do a Tamiya pearl coat on that and just blow people's minds. You know what, man? If I didn't already have this plotted out in my mind's eye on how I wanted it to look, I would probably make that left turn and drive down that alley. But not on this one, though. These kits are fairly reasonable to find, and if I do find another one, I'll give that a try. But in the meantime, I'm going to follow through with the original plan, which is going to be doing it in the Italian red from Tamiya. So we weren't able to get too far along today because, of course, it's laundry day. We've been running around the house doing laundry, and then also we had to do errands and blah, 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 because, you know, life. But we did, and yeah, this is the Stig. Well, actually, he's not really the Stig because he has a face. The Stig doesn't have a face, but we can fix that. I can take his face right off. I think I can take his face right out of there. But we did get the gloss coat, the future gloss coat on the seats and the door cards, so that those look more vinyl-y. Oh, and the center console as well. I swapped out the shifter for a stick pin because the shifter that was in there was really chunky. It didn't even fit in the grooves, and instead of trying to whittle down the gear shift lever, I decided we're just go with the tried and true stick pin. So there we go with that. And oh, we got our window cranks on there. It's so funny to see a Lamborghini with wind-up windows. That's you know, with window winders. And then I presume this is supposed to be a cabin light back there, so I kind of painted it to look like such. It seems to be a weird place to put a cigarette ashtray, which I presume this is down here, or maybe that's where the secret buttons are to launch the missiles and stuff like that. A la James Bond. We have been focusing on the engine tray / bay, but we're nearly done on that. We need to, I figured this looked like a filler bottle or something, so I just went in and painted it white. And we need to do the little cap on top of that, and then I think that'll button this up for the back end here. We did do a panel liner wash across all the carbs and the valve covers. Now, I've seen a lot of photographic references where the valve covers are actually like a gloss black or something like that, but I thought, what the heck, we'll just leave them chrome and we'll do a wash on them, and then we'll be happy like that. I did do Ushi powder on the sides of the air cleaner boxes. I like that a lot better than trying to mask off and paint it, because I have a lot more control of what's going on there. And then this isn't fully attached yet, but we'll take a look at the bottom. And we're not 100% dry here yet, but we did fill in some of the bracing here with some flat black. I kind of like that look a little bit better. And then on the bottom of the battery tray, we're doing some more flat black, and then we'll go back, do some touch-ups on the gray, and then on the exhaust pipes, we are going to use some Ushi powder on the exhaust pipes. And then we're going to also try something that I don't have available in front of me right now, so please bear with. We're going to use this Tamiya weathering powder for the burnt blue or the burnt red and the oil stain to do up the. My friend James got a set of that, and I thought, oh, how envious am I? So I went out and got my own. The only thing we haven't done for the interior yet is fiddled with the dash, which seems to be molded very nicely, as we can see there, and radio and some buttons and all that kind of stuff. So that's the next thing on the list, but I did a lot of work on this. It doesn't look like it, but there is a lot of work on here. I am partially cross-eyed now from having to do that because I had to get out the cheaters. But yeah, so far so good. We're probably going to go back and sand this guy down so we can get off that pink, and then make them a uniform color rather than an ununiform color. And then see about filling in his visor maybe. I don't know, maybe we could toss some epoxy in there or something like that. It does have kind of a cool face molded in there, so kind of on the fence about that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, so it's Friday afternoon, about 4:30, and we're out in the spray booth right now. We sprayed this about an hour ago with our TS8 from Tamiya, Italian Red, and I tell you what, that looks awesome over that pink primer. I have no regrets about that at all. We will be doing a little bit of a wet sanding possibly tomorrow afternoon, and then doing another coat too, just to make everything nice and glossy. I'm just really happy with how it's coming out. We did have to do a lot of wet sanding last night and some spot priming in order to get some areas kind of caught up to the main body. But I'm glad we did the investment in time on that, because I think it's paying off real nice. Here's our forest of parts that are going to be body color. So here's our engine lid. Something to be aware of on this type of thing, because of these depressed areas in here, it's really difficult to make sure you get enough paint down there so that it doesn't, and not let it puddle up on that stuff. So we've been hitting it with light coats. And speaking of light coats, along with the rear wing, we did a top coat, a coat on the top, and then we did not do the coat on the bottom because the overspray, we were worried about it wrapping around and tacking on there and pebbling up and stuff. So kind of messing up the finish. So I think we'll be better off just letting that cure up and then hitting the bottom with a separate attack. Our headlight buckets are looking pretty cool. And then something we found out last night when we were doing our wet sanding is on top of the radiator intakes, there's a little, oops, kind of blurry, sorry about that. There's a little bit of a depression in the top of each one, and we were able to not really fill those, but to sand them down so that they were pretty much smooth on each side. So that's what's going on out here in the spray booth, and let's take you back inside to the bench and show you that. Okay, so back at the bench, we've been messing around with getting the engine tray kind of done as best we could. I still have to do my water bottle cap over there. Brian is being a bad boy, not doing things he's supposed to be doing, but that's almost done up there. And then as far as the bottom of the chassis, we got our wheels and tires installed, we got our steering system installed, and the rear axle. We're going to dirty this up a little bit to make it match the rest of the chassis, but the wheels are positionable, and that's awesome, and they spin freely, so it's going to be a shelf roller. I do want to do another coat of black on here because it was getting a little thick. I think the black paint was a little on the old side, so we kind of suffered there a little bit with that. But in the grand scheme of things, not a big issue. However, there is a big issue. Something we discovered last night when we were doing our mock-up. We had the interior on chassis, and it kind of has a couple of little lugs there that match up into these L bracket areas, L-shaped areas, and then that kind of locks in there really, really nicely. And oh no, my shifter fell out. We'll have to add more glue to that later. But the problem is that the seat headrests here actually interfere with the side of the car that comes down off the roof right there, the pillar area. And the issue there is that you can see kind of the angle here, how much that seat's going to interfere with that. So what happens is it's pushing down on the chassis, so that when we put the chassis in the body, it actually kind of hog bellies right here. I don't know if that's a term. I think I just made it up. But if it is something that I just made up, I love it. I'm using it. But yeah, it kind of hog bellies right through here. And that does not look cool. I mean, when I had tried the chassis onto the body without the interior tub, the stance was awesome. I mean, it was hunkered down. It was planted. It looked great. Looked like a Lamborghini should look like. And then I put the interior pan in there, and then it looked like a potbelly pig. So there's a hog bellying down there. But yeah, I'm thinking that we might end up having to pull the seats out and then maybe slice them right there at the top and then just put them back in again. That would be the simplest answer. Another possibility is that somehow I glued them in there and didn't get the angle quite right, but it doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's flush up against the back wall there, so the bulkhead. So I know I didn't make a mistake, but anyway, it is what it is. It's all fix-upable, no problem at all. We kind of came across what we want to do with our taillights and turn signals. I did Sharpie inside there, and then I backed them up with some Molotow pen. And I think what we'll do is we'll just fill the backs of these here with a little bit of putty, and then like poster tack or something like that, and then just paint the back side of this body color and be done with it and see how that goes. If that doesn't work out, there's always another option, and we'll be exploring that post-haste. And I still haven't done any work on the dashboard yet. I'm holding off on that for some reason. I'm not quite sure. My hands are fairly steady these days. I'm on new medication, so that's helping out a lot, and that's why I'm able to do so much brush painting, and I'm just absolutely freaking loving it. So there we go. And also, our racing car driver does not fit in the car very, very well. I have to do some modifications to him also. So the stig is going to get cut. We're going to cut the stig out of this one and use them someplace else. All right, guys and gals, thanks for tuning in again. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. Saturday morning, it's about 10:40 a.m. and I need to get out the door here pretty soon because we're doing a group build at the hobby shop with my model club. But last night I spent a few minutes and we cut off the tops of the seats, and here's the seat tops over here. So we cut them off, and then we did a little bit of creative sanding and filing to kind of tone, bring in the tops of the seats a little bit to make them not look so cut off, I guess is the best way to say it. But I do like how they look. They turned out pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and go with that and leave it. I am kind of considering making some sort of like circular pad or something like that that would fit right up onto this bit right here, kind of like a little headrest thing. But we'll see where that goes in the future. But for right now, just wanted to give an update on that. And then we're going to pack up this show and take it on the road, quite literally. So we'll talk to you later. Okay, so it is February 7th, about 3:20 p.m. my time, which is Mountain Standard Time. And it's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks since we got a chance to work on our little Lamborghini here. But in that meantime, we have had our third coat of red paint, and now our final coat of gloss. And she's looking sweet. It's a little hazy right here, but I don't mind. I think we're going to be okay. We were waiting for some decals to come in from the Bay of E, and we got all different sizes of Lamborghini logos because the decals were junk. So we're going to put one of those little guys on this little badge right up here on the front, and maybe one on the steering wheel too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but let's show you the steering wheel and the dash. We just got done fiddling with that, and the light's not going to help us because we got the steering wheel in the way. But we did all right. We did all right on there. Those are not decals. That's all actual paint. Yep, that was fun. And we have our seats glued in, and that's the rear view mirror that's supposed to hang down from the top. So I think our interior, other than doing the vents on here and a little bit of detail on the radio, I think our interior is about ready to be done. We've got the top of the engine glued in now, finally. I forgot to do that for some reason, but I went back and did that today as I was goofing around. And let's take a look here. I'm going to match these up real quick so they look better. But we got our taillight display hidden. Pretty much done. I think this is the right way up. There we go. Pretty much done and ready to go. We're going to call that it. We're going to call that done on that bit there. So we're getting close to doing final assembly, and then we'll do all the tape off for the... I take that back, actually. We're going to wait on final assembly. We're going to do tape off on the body because we got to black out all of our spoilers and fender flares and grill work, and I should have just painted the car black and went back and did the red bits. It would have been simpler. But yeah, there we go. That's what we got going on that. So we're hoping for maybe getting this done fairly quickly. All right, thanks for tuning in.